get it right. Trying to find some balance in my life. I never really put up a fight, and now I'm losing sleep. What if I lost touch? What if I'll never get it right? I try to follow my heart, but I lost it somehow. Wish that someone could say it'll all be okay. Just listen to me as I say. Listen to me as I slow it down. Dreams still yours if you want it. Enjoy the ride, 'cause those ups and those downs is what makes it worth it. Slow it down. Dreams still yours if you want it. Enjoy the ride.
Good afternoon and welcome back to the Elite Invite here in Leuven. We've been with you all weekend, multi-TV production of the EUCS premier early season event, the Elite Invite. I'm Stefan Rapazzo alongside Benji Reese to bring you all the action of this all-Belgian championship match. Mooncatchers from Brussels taking on Gentle from Ghent. Benji Reese, tell us a bit more about what we're going to see here.
Well, you might remember when we left you yesterday, at the end of the Mooncatchers Chevron game, we told you that it was looking like Moon versus Clapham, because Clapham were at that point leading and seemed like they were going to close it out, but Gentle had a brilliant comeback late on. Hello everyone, nice to see you. And have more than earned their spot in this final. Good value for it, a universe point win. In the end, wouldn't have it any other way, would you? 15-14. They also knocked off La Fotta 13-10 in the quarterfinal, Gentle. So they beat some good teams to be here for Mooncatchers. 13-11 over Jet Set and 15-11 over Chevron in the quarters and semi-finals, respectively. In terms of the pool play phase, Gentle actually finished third in Pool A. They beat Jet Set 15-13 and then didn't go so well from that point. 15-11, they lost their first game against Clapham in the pool and went down 14-12 to Wall City, but they got hot in the bracket, and that is what matters for Moon. They are undefeated, 5 wins, 0 losses. We streamed their 15-14 victory over Chevron Friday morning. They then beat Alba 15-9 after a universe point victory over La Fotta 12-11, and as we mentioned, progress through the bracket with those victories over Jet Set and over Chevron. Action flash! So we've got a very local feel to this one on the fields in Leuven. Hence a little bit further away than Brussels, it has to be said, but still 2 Belgians, and I'm sure this is going to get a very raucous home crowd.
Yeah, we are looking forward to bringing you all this action of this Belgian hit-out. Moon, the early season favorites. Everybody expected them to be in it and to be winning it. Gentle coming through the back door, knocking off the heavyweights, seeing if they can knock off one more on that list, maybe the heaviest of these weigh-ins. Mooncatchers all about to kick off, and we're here excited to bring you this wonderful action.
Yeah, the open bronze medal game is going on the field behind us right now. Clapham versus Chevron action flash. And you can watch that game from the single camera OTTV coverage. I can barely keep up. My brain's getting ahead of myself because I'm so excited. And Lorcan Murray is dialing in on that one for you.
Set for the opening pull, Lander de Crane, the young superstar representing on every iteration that Belgium has of a national team that was under the microscope last year. De Luca. High stall count finds Yonkers crossing the backfield. Yonkers inside, zips it to Karklins. Karklins up line, Desmarais. Quick to blast, man. Lander almost set to launch, but stays grounded. Ort. DeLuca. Exchange with Ort, and now to Yonkers. leaning into that forehand, then delivers. Karklinch goes wide. Demarais not quite in yet, but very near inside shot. Blastman hammers. Mueller there to collect the goods as he tends to do. Tidy offensive possession for Mooncatchers to kick off the opening point.
When we found out that Blastman and Ben Ort were making their way over from Groot in the mixed division to play with Mooncatchers on the open side of things, immediately you thought, yeah, this feels like a fit that'll work. A, because they're excellent players and they've got that chemistry with each other, so at the very least you've got someone you're familiar with. B, because they've played with them a little bit in the past. They played Mooncatchers at Tom's tourney last year. Obviously there's the language similarity as well, but mostly because they play a little Moon anyway. They're very solid, consistent, athletic, and yes, they're not afraid to use their full arsenal of weaponry, and that's quite an arsenal as well. Blastman sticking the hammer to the back corner where Matthew Muller, who's an excellent teammate, work often goes unsung. He makes the score, and it's 1-0 to Moon.
Early lead to the Mooncatchers, but a simple hold by virtue of the coin toss at this stage. And by coin toss, we mean disc flip. Boumalal settles under and goes to Van de Vega. There'll be two of them out there. This one, Aaron.
I think this is something that Moon do so well. I think they are the most consistent pullers on the continent, continually pin you in negative field position.
Deep shot by Arthur Van de Vega. What a reception there. Mons takes it and goes backwards. Novak, the Czech addition to this team, goes to the second Czech addition, Prushak. He gets again. Up line, Arthur Van de Vega. Goes to Boumalal. Van de Vega pops one back. Boumalal leading throw. Novak is there, finds the right seam and feeds out Van de Vega. A nice tidy score by Gentle.
If Gentle are going to thrive in this game, and believe me, they have the ability to do so, because they wouldn't have got to the bracket knocking off two top quality teams without it. Their deep game is going to have to be fit and firing. Notable for his absence this weekend and for much of the season will be Turba de Krainer, because he's out playing the semi-pro game in the States, playing with the Montreal Royal, and by all accounts fitting them seamlessly there. But they still do have lots of athletes. Arthur Van der Weger is a player who doesn't necessarily get the same spotlight. He's not as big a physical presence as some of the other Belgian lads, but he's a supreme thrower, and he's really crafty as well. Nice quickness, very sharp, stays on the balls of his feet to get that little first step separation, and he will be key to Gentle's hopes in this one.
Speaking of key, the man about to pull, PJ de Moulinade, was not here on Friday, came back on Saturday, and ironically, Gentle started winning and knocking off heavyweights at about the same time de Moulinade came back, Benji.
I don't know if that's ironic, unless, of course, you're Alanis Morissette.
Don't you think? Karklins comes under. Launches one, Ort all alone. Varikin throws the hat, does take some position, and Demarais roofs everyone. Now the shot for goal was easy to Bontemps, but Dan Demarais roofs the pack and steals that one for the Mooncatchers.
All you can do is just kind of chuckle and let out a wry smile and just pretend that was meant for Demarais all along, right? Sure it was.
I'm chuckling with a wry smile on my face.
It's a little bit of a freebie. Obviously, Ort's a pretty good receiver himself in the air, but Karklin, she did hang that throw up, and well, it gave Demarais the opportunity to make a play, and usually when that happens, Dan Demarais makes the play. Have a look at it again. Varikin spikes the cap, and we can just about see it between the caps on the sideline. Demarais, with flubber on his feet, springs up above the pack, brings it down, and then cushions the throw out on the far sideline to Sofiane Bontemps.
So at 2-1, clean holds, no turns. We're off to a nice start here in Leuven, the battle between Brussels and Ghent. Boumalal handles the pole, finds Van de Vega.
Also, Ghent.
Thanks, bench.
You're welcome.
Arthur Van de Vega opens the arm. The chase is on. Oosterlink with the reception. 2 meters out, shovels back. Boumalal and quickly in for goal. That one to Van de Voet. And Gentle strike back nice and quick. About a 5-throw possession, if I've got that one right.
You can't give Arthur Van der Wege the opportunity to see, or either Van der Wege to be honest, the opportunity to see those players deep. If you're not covering them, that throw is going, and it's going to be bang on the money time and time again. Got so many tempting targets. This time it's Wolf Oosterlink, and the Wolf at the door. Is he going to force it in? Actually, no, that time it's mature to just take the reset to Boumalal. He's catching it. He's seeing the play develop in front of him. And then after the little pop-off, going to squeeze the backhand down the line into space. And Vincent van der Woude with the score, 2 apiece.
Mr. Lander de Crane.
He's pretty good.
Yeah, super in fact. Sends the pull. And DeLuca watches it go out the back. Very good pull, but when you miss by a foot or so,
not that good.
You give the gift of the brick mark.
Get out of the gym, Lander. Always been saying this.
Yeah, too many curls.
He's been watching too much Tobefit.
Yes. Tobefit 33? Or it's just Tobefit?
Actually, you know what? I don't know. As famously, I'm scarcely on socials.
Bontemps goes to Muller. Sofiane Bontemps. Blastman in the backfield, low but picked up. Wide around throw, Desmarais takes. Dan Desmarais inside, flick, and Yonkers with a bailout catch there. Now inside once more, Bontemps clear in the back of the end zone. Moon with another clean hold.
Set up, I think, there by a real purposeful fake by Ben Yonkers. He doesn't just waft it or wave it. There's a purpose, there's a point to it. We're creating more separation from the force. We're getting the cutters downfield to really bite. They've got to be convinced that I'm going to throw it, because if they're not, well, what am I actually doing except wasting time? It's a good catch stuck just in front of the defender, and you see there, just, yes, we're going to show you that we're going that way, and it also gives the signal to Bontemps of, do you want to bounce it back inside? All right then, let's do it. And Bontemps is just such a natural end zone threat. 2 goals already for him. He will get more of that, I am sure. I think back to the semi-final yesterday where we kind of didn't necessarily talk much about Bontemps, and then before you know it, he had an assist and 4 goals.
Yeah, he just piled them on a little bit quietly, sneakily, but it's surprising that could ever happen. Toms Abeltinch, the big, broad-shouldered Latvian, sends the pull. Boumalal stops the roll and goes to Van de Vega. Inside again. Deep shot put away by Mons, and Oczynski steps in front for the first turn of the game.
Maybe Mons should have pulled the trigger.
Crisafulli goes inside and just has enough room for Cedric Feller. Crisafulli, and there is a stoppage upfield because of a pick.
Yeah, defender not able to keep up with their matchup because there's traffic in the way. Doesn't matter which team it is, but if you're not allowed to, well, if you're not able to keep close guarding because someone's in the way or because they would be in the way and you stop beforehand, you don't actually have to have the collision, which is nice. Then yeah, you can call a pick, catch up, get reset, and get back in play.
Thanks, bench.
You're welcome, Steph.
Crisafulli and Mons continue to discuss when it's coming in, even though the violation was not on the disc. But we are tapped back in. Crisafulli, the Italian from Rimini. Oczynski breaks around to Cedric Feller. Abeltinch goes wide, has target far sideline, and another stoppage.
Yeah, this one not a pig, it's a foul between Liam Crisafulli and Sebastian Mons.
Guillaume Lejeune with the disc in hand. Assuming the pick didn't affect those two, it will likely remain with Lejeune. The young man comes back, now goes forward to Crisafulli. Using that far sideline, Crisafulli refines center. Abeltinch to Oczynski. Oczynski. Oh, a nice offhand backhand under the arm, and then Crisafulli feeds Feller. First break of the game, Mooncatchers put that on the board.
I was going to say, what was that about not being able to teach an old dog new tricks? And then I realised that Vince Charouche is younger than I am, so I stopped saying it. But he has been playing 19 years, so you know what I mean. But the little okey doke, the no pivot backhand, got it out of his hand so quickly. You can have a look at it again on this replay. Arthur Vangoe just can't get across quickly enough, and then Crisafulli with a simple flip to Cedric Feller for the goal. One of a long line of ultimate siblings in Belgium, some of whom we're seeing out here. We've got, of course, we've got the Yonkers brothers, although Ref is still in recovery. We've got one half of the De Crayons. We've got the Van der Wegers, and guess what? Now we've got another one as well, because Cedric, the younger brother of Arthur, who is, I understand, back in training, I think, not still at full speed yet, but that's really good to see. And apparently Cedric's only just 15, which surprises me because he looks like and plays like he's a lot older and more mature.
Yeah, a young stud in the making. I was at Moon training last week. I did see Arthur Feller playing full speed for training. He's very close to his comeback, so we'll be looking forward to that as well.
That's such good news, because it's been such a lengthy spell on the sidelines for him, and I bet he's just chomping at the bit to get out there.
Must be. Aaron van de Vega goes to Boumalal, still in their own end zone. Looking to hold after the first break of the game. Varikin leads forward, zips one inside. The distribution back to Arthur van de Vega. And leading throw goes around Aaron and to Boumalal. Big shot goes up. Novak, Varikin there. And off two hands and somehow cradled into the closed elbow of David Novak. Everybody had a touch. And Gentle get the benefit.
Just how they drew it up, right, Steph?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, the more you practice, the luckier you get. That's what they say. And we mentioned that Arthur van der Wega, if he sees an option, he will put it. He's never going to be shy about putting the trigger, no matter how tight the force is. He will find a way to get it off, and two receivers in the area. You can have a look at it now on the replay. He's got that sun hoodie underneath, just kind of bouncing back and forth. And it looks so effortless for him, doesn't it, the deep strike? Oh, yes, no, who wants it? Not you? Fine then, it'll be mine. And Novak pretty much picks it off the back of his teammate Varikin for the score. And Moon still got that advantage. Gentle need to start eating away those breaks. Varikin, by the way, who didn't quite make the catch, one of the coaches of this side, so I think he'll be happy with the process in the end.
Yeah, it must do.
Not sure. Arthur, als die pas van nu. Ja, Arthur.
Lander, De Craan setting up to pull to that O-line, the Mooncatchers.
It's not a bad unit, is it?
No, they are very, very tidy. could consider them 1-7 as a European All-Star team some days. They are that good, but of course there's a few other All-Stars around that would shake it up a bit.
Yeah, Coach Pierre-Alain Delamin was saying after watching their Universe Point victory over Lofoten that it was about the worst he'd seen their offense ever play, and yet they still beat one of the best sides in Europe, so that's not bad going.
Not bad at all. Cocklinch sends deep. De Luca's got space, but it's floating, and oh, just a slight misread. Cotin goes up early, just over his head, and De Luca waits out the situation.
I think maybe they weren't quite expecting De Luca to take off deep down this sideline, but if the space is there, these players are versatile and multiple enough that they're happy to make the unselfish option. Even if you don't get it, at least you clear out space for someone else. But Karklins as a thrower, it's a little bit of a challenge. We'll get some shape and edge on it to take it back into your path, and the receiver underneath it. De Luca got the position nice and early, so it forces Cotin to go up a little bit earlier than perhaps he would have liked. And De Luca, in the end, more than happy to watch that one into the grass and maintain that 2-point advantage for Mooncatchers. Still just the one break in this game that went Mooncatchers' way a couple of points ago. By the way, Moon have not turned it over yet. Gentle have only turned it over once, to be fair, in the first 8 points. It's just that their opponents punished them. It's been a game of high offensive quality, I think, Steph.
Love that, and not surprised by that. The expectation, a tournament like this, again, the Elite Invite, just to be playing in this tournament has to be a testament to the prowess of your clubs and your teams. To get this deep into a tournament, even more shown to how well of a unit you are, and to see so few turnovers, no surprise at all. Van de Vega, advantage offense all the time. Novak goes back to Van de Vega. Van de Vega goes around to his brother Arthur. And a fraternal return. That one, and Novak there on the bailout, pack grab once again. He was there in the end zone when they got away with one, and he's there now on the sideline. Novak has to really retreat out to Van de Vega, grabs the trailing edge. Van de Vega brothers trying to connect again. Instead, far sideline is reached. Mons goes to Van de Vega. Low collected Oosterling. Van de Vega boosts it. He's got Novak and has Demesmaker turned around and roofs them up where Grandma keeps the jam jars for that one. Another one on the board for Gentle.
Gentle doing what Gentle do, and generally it's when we get in a jam, we'll open it up. We'll back our playmakers to come down. David Novak's a perfect fit for them because he's got that nose for the disc, doesn't he? And there are times, even when he's seemingly not involved, when he'll just find a way that it's going to magnetize itself towards his grasp, as we saw on this near sideline when there was that kind of melee of bodies underneath, and who comes out on top but the big Czech Novak. This, however, a lot more comfortable, reads it, pinpoints it early, gets over the top of Demesmaker and brings it down for the score, and then just tries to give him a little hand up, although I think Demesmaker was maybe frustrated that he didn't put it in a slightly better defensive attempt. He just turns around and locates the disc a little bit too late, whereas Novak's tracking it the entire flight path.
So down one are Gentle. That is the break against them. Lander de Crane set to pull.
His pulls can be absolutely spectacular. They take one of those now to pen Mooncatchers in deep. Unfortunately, they're not necessarily the most consistent.
That one just out of bounds, but out of bounds nonetheless. The gift of the brick will be rewarded to Benjamin Yonkers. Yonkers to Karklinch. Ooh, Desmarais with a double step, gets open, coming under, foot block attempt, just evaded. Bontemps to Desmarais. Desmarais low pop throw. Air bounce in that one, Blasman. Desmarais, they exchange. And again. Now Carclint. Carclint, high stall count, finds Muller. Yonkers coming across. Inside throw by Muller. Desmarais leads to the corner. Not quite in as Blasman, but he's got the disc. Blasman goes back towards center, but it's just straight back to DeLuca. Now DeLuca finds Desmarais. Desmarais into space. Muller's there. And another one on the board. Tidy possession again. Mooncatchers.
The scoring pass felt a little bit too easy, but it's because they're shuttling the disc laterally. It means that downfield, those defenders, they're orbiting a little more rather than sticking hard on one side, especially when the stack's set in the middle and the disc's on the closed side of the field, we'll call it. Then it means that there's a nice open channel with what is a quote-unquote break side for a downfield defender, even though actually you're kind of throwing it flat and straight ahead, and you could even put it a little bit out into space. So as a defender, that means, well, I can't sit strictly on that open side like I normally would because there's too big a window. So you flip those hips, you orbit and you buzz around to try and make sure that if the inside shot does go, you've got a decent position. The risk is that if they swing well around the back, as Mooncatchers did there, and you'll see here on the replay, defenders completely out of position, and Muller takes advantage of that quick disc movement, good timing in the cut, and he scores.
That ball hangs into the hands of Van de Vega, and now Boumalal. Wide around throw, good defense, just got it past the hands of Direct. Ooh, and a bit of contact between Crisafulli and Sebastian Mons, and Mons comes up with a jolted, I think, knee or ankle.
Yeah, it seems like he's okay to continue though, which is good.
The big fake by Mons, and then he engages Boumalal. Good defense by Oczynski to shut down the dump pass. Van de Vega goes high, Oosterling, continuation. Arthur Van de Vega puts it again. He's been money thus far, and his money again. Spots Mons, likes the matchup, and puts another one on the board for Gentle, make it 5-6.
I think that one felt good for Mons, having picked up that knock earlier in the point, so maybe a little bit of extra adrenaline buzzing through, and Crisafulli comes over, I think, to maybe just apologise for that earlier contact, of course without actually being right there to hear. You can't tell exactly, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was towards the point of the discussion. After Van der Wege, it's just such a strong thrower, and this time, you see when that takes up, the edge actually would take it, you think, more towards Crisafulli's side, but Crisafulli's just seeing it a little bit late, whereas the receivers downfield, they're pinpointing the disc early, they're getting an earlier read, and they're getting into position, and that one's brought down with the left hand by Mons, who is responsible for the game's sole turnover thus far. Which, yes, we are 11 points in and we've had one turnover. Which, is that brilliant offense? Is that maybe lax defense? I'm leaning towards the former.
Yeah, it is the brilliant offense indeed. There is not too much lax defense. There's a lapse or two that we've been able to identify, but it is just hard running out there and efficient offenses showing off their stuff. DeLuca goes to Yonkers. Big cutting break to Ort. Ort zips upfield. Desmarais or Coughlins all alone, and Clap catches in front. That was a nice string play. Maybe that one was exactly how it was drawn up.
I heard you very nearly go with his pre-married name, and then you stopped yourself. It's unusual for. It's unusual for male players to change their name when they get married, but certainly not against it. It's nice.
No, totally nice. And yes, those of you who were wondering if you recognized the number 99 on Mooncatchers and thought he looked like the man known as Orlovsky, so that is him with a brand new surname to go with his marriage.
Still as good as ever though on the pitch. And this is classic break side flow. Zipping a couple of insides, first to Ort, he continues to Demaret and then sat out into space. If you get the timing right and you don't come too early with the cut, which is the risk because you see the space developing, if you make that break side cut too early, then you cut off that space and actually you end up meaning that by the time the player's caught it and looking downfield, you're already there and the defender's there as well. But if you just wait a split second before going, then the throw can still go into space for you to attack.
One crossover here. Orlovsky's has stayed out to play defense for the Mooncatchers. High stall count. Are they talking about a stall out or
No,
talking about the bump?
I think there's a bump on the mark, and the argument for Arbeltinch is going to be, well, I'm in a legitimate position, aren't I? And I think the counter argument will be, no, you were moving into me.
I think the counter argument's the one that I would be siding with there.
It's very difficult if you're moving as a mark to not concede the foul. It's an offensive game after all, I think. Unfortunately for D-line stalwarts. For the surprise of no one, I was not a D-line stalwart.
All right, bench.
Not that my frisbee career is the point of the day.
Here is a hanging disc, all sorts under it. It's gonna just go out the back, and nobody's gonna get a chance of its second turn of the game.
Even if it had come down in bounds, there's so many bodies underneath that, it'd be so hard for Gentle to get there. They've schemed up some really nice deep looks, but that was congested and cluttered, and I'm not sure what the handler saw. I guess he just felt the pressure, having got fouled on the high stall previously, that he needed to make a big play, but with nothing coming open underneath, couldn't find a way through.
Now the big shot goes. Orlovsky's and Novak jostle, and Novak does just enough to get away with one in front of the big Latvian.
Yeah, one Latvian shooting for another, but Novak just about able to get the better of Orlovsky, who seemed
Van de Vega.
disappointed, I think, but doesn't call the foul.
Bumalal. Back to Van de Vega.
That was Moon's only turn of the half so far, by the way.
Leading throw, Arthur Van de Vega. Up line, quick, Van de Woude. Now again, and they use that far sideline efficiently. Arthur Van de Vega strikes after the first delivery and cashes in the goal.
Just jamming in the jam hole, Steph.
Yeah, what else he can do with that kind of a jam hole?
It feels anticlimactic almost when you work it up the open side, but as an offense, that's what you want to do. If you can keep getting free open side, nice boring, bang, 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 score, why would you do anything different? I think it's 54 to... Yeah, there you see it again, squeezing that one down the sideline. Defenders left in the dust, no one really in the same postcode as Arturo van der Wege, and we've talked about his prowess as a thrower, but actually he's picked up 2 goals to go along with 3 assists, and you're seeing how important he is to Gentle's success in this game and this season. Moon with a chance to close out the half here. Up 1 break, just the one in the game so far. It's going to be a brick.
It's going to be a brick. Ben Yonkers. Of course, Benji, I remember back in 2018 EUCF when the Yonkers, well, were even younger men. We had a moment to call them bonkers and ronkers to differentiate with ref on the recovery shelf for a bit. Well, Ben Yonkers is the only one out there, so we don't have to differentiate as much, but still bonkers from time to time.
Yeah, certainly I think in the past Mooncatchers were more bonkers than they are now.
And that D, is it being contested? It is a foul that's being accepted. Zwarts went into that. I thought it was a good look, but he did clip the body of Muller. Demaret Goes around De Luca.
Remember, Mooncatchers captured a surprise bronze medal at that EUCS.
Shot up the line. Desmarais leading backhand. Bontemps collects. And that's probably the closest we've seen to the Moon O-line giving one up on the foul attempt. But they do not give up a thing. They put in the 8th point of the game, and that's going to be a half taker.
Half an hour gone, and we're at half time. I think it just shows the pace and tempo these sides play with, and I know that we've not seen many turnovers. There's only been 3 in the entire first half, but more than that, it's the fact that, you know, they don't have this slow setup style. It's not very, you know, disciplined, conservative ultimate necessarily. They take shots when they're available. They take, you know, whether that's deep or the long over-the-top swings to cut out the middleman. They're aggressive with breaks, and Dan Desmarais having an impactful game as ever. 4 assists, while Safien Bontemps is the main goal scorer for Mooncatchers with 3 in that first half. If Gentle have to come back into this, they'll need to find a way to throttle their impact, although that is a lot easier said than done, Steph.
Indeed it is. They're showing signs of being able to do it. Hopefully whatever they discuss here in the fire they might build under themselves will provide what they need to get over the hump and find some more break chances. We'll find out how that shapes itself out in the second half. We'll take a short break. Until then, don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Yes, he will. The lovely day.
Back, ready for second half action here at Elite Invite from Leuven. A EUF sanctioned event for the wild card, the guaranteed spot at EUCS. Thanks for joining us. It's an 8-6 lead. I'm Stefan Rapazzo here with Benji Reese, bringing you all the action. Benji, nice first half. Moon sure looks sharp, don't they?
They really do, looking like the favourites for that wildcard spot at the moment, the reigning champions in this division here at the Elite Invite. Remember that wild 15-3 victory over Clapham in the final last year in Bern in the shadow of the Wankdorf Stadium. Certainly, I think a lot more calm conditions here. It was a very windy weekend out there. But even if you don't take the wildcard, there's still, you know, you've got to complete those games, get them in for the algorithm, work out how the ranking shakes out. Looking forward to the next in or out rankings update show on Monday evening at 8 o'clock. In terms of the actual placings though, Jet Set finished 8th, the hometown. Alba got their first win of the weekend, 15-12 to finish 7th. In the 5 versus 6 game, La Fotta Wall City's gone to Universe at 14s, and Clapham, as has traditionally been the case, were able to get one over on Chevron 15-13 in the bronze medal match.
All tight matches again. Thanks for the updates, Benji. I'll tell you what, Moon looking very sharp, but I've seen them look very sharp and have a game that they were almost perfect into the second half, late into the second half in a championship game. That didn't end up going their way, so there is some hope here for Gentle to find a way into this game despite the form Moon are showing.
Yeah, and Gentle were down late in that game against Clapham. They knocked off La Fotta in the quarter as well as Bateman throws himself around. So they've got form.
Hang on to that one, little bobble, and recollect. De Fox goes to Van de Vega. He puts the fake on, then delivers the other side. Oosterlink goes to Van der Woude.
You've got to remember that Gentle are back-to-back EUCF semi-finalists. Captured the bronze medal in 2021, right, in Bruges.
Yes, that's right.
I can't remember about
Ex-EUCF.
Yeah, I can't remember about 2022, to be honest. Maybe they were semi-finalists there as well, I think so. And then semi-finalists last year as well out in Wrocław. So they are consistent performers at this level. Is this a great time for them to make the step up and onto the top step of the podium at last?
Van der Wege to Novak, back to Aaron Van der Wege. Spinning around, Hrushak giving an option, but takes his brother out too. Leading throw. And again, now a little bit of power position approach from Van den Broek, but nobody sighted for the immediate continuation. High grab, Hrushak, low throw, but Arthur Van der Wege manages to find some balance and collect another goal for Gentle.
It's just like the two brothers were playing catch in the back garden, really, wasn't it? Just meet to you, to meet to you.
Yeah, and I know that they started playing at a very young age and have played a lot of back garden ultimate and, you know, frisbee-based, disc-based sports together, those two. Getting it done over the years and now really showing off what good it's done starting at a young age.
Well, you know, I mentioned the two Van der Wege brothers. Yeah, there's a third, Isaac Van der Wege as well. Started at 13, did Aaron, throwing the assist. Obviously, the Gentle program's done such a good job at developing youth. They've got the famous G-Spot tournament as well.
Which is happening right now.
It is indeed. When Aaron Van der Wege started, there are 12 youth players, and now in their various age groups from 8 up to 19, they've got over 300. That's some growth, Steph, and I think it's shown why they've been so consistently at the top table. Because they are getting those young players, starting them early and developing and bringing them through.
Very impressive programs out there in Ghent. Many people helping to steer that ship. I know one other, Ine Lankriet, doing a great job for the youth in Ghent.
Yes, indeed, and I must admit, as I love being here at Elite Invite, but I do hope to go back to G-Sport one day, one of my favourite party tournaments.
Leading throw to Karklins. De Luca, and now Yonkers. Blasman towards the midline, and now Bontemps.
Enjoying seeing Gentle go with something a little bit different defensively, starting with that flat front three, but at the halfway mark, they've managed to dissolve into that one-on-one coverage instead.
There was a hard charge there by Zvats. He didn't leave his feet, but he was only a half step away from being in a position to have that one. It's going to come back into the hands of Ort. Tapped in and engaging on Blasman. Tight defense by De Moulinieri. Zipped upfield to Yonkers and continued. Mueller sighted. Could be too far. Is it in or not? Let's decide. They say no right away. That would have been my initial impression. Of course, we don't have the best perspective on that one from our seats.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it again from the high view cam because, see, when we're looking at it live, we're a bit more level with it, so we don't quite see where the back line is. But I think everyone seemed to agree that the first point of contact was out the back, and that is a first turnover for the Mooncatchers O-line.
Well, first turnover late in the game. Big opportunity for Gentle. If they're able to convert here, would be huge, tying things up at 8. Oh, strong hands by De Moulinieri. And now De Craan. De Craan, nice throw underneath the arm of Karklins. Cotin to Vareken. He throws around to a curving De Craan cut, throws in the middle. De Moulinieri had an end zone option, but goes conservative and recycles with Vareken. Back to De Moulinieri and Cotin. Fakes the backhand, the lefty. Stays upfield. Stays upfield and throws to Lander, but tried to go above or Kirkland and gets away with it. Zvots with the second effort. Unbelievable focus there to get that one in the hand as it was falling away.
You were bang on that Kotin got away with that one, because he should have stayed and kept the vision on De Millionaire, because he was free on the reset, but that's boring. That's not gentle. Gentle is rolling the dice and coming up with the lucky number, well, 8 in this occasion, of course. Benjamin Zwart, the goal scorer, the co-president of the Belgian Federation. How you can have a co-president, I don't quite know, but who knows? Maybe in this age of a two-party system, it's not a bad idea. I think just suckered in a little bit there by Lander. Karklinch goes up, it goes over him, and that's a really tricky catch with the disc always going away from you, so you have to pick exactly the right moment to snag it with the right hand, as Zuarts does there, and it's especially impressive because he's a lefty, so that's his weaker hand.
What a play. Zvots, he's been not only the co-president, a photographer as well, been running around these fields with a lens, getting shots all weekend long. Really a big contributor to the community, and just as much so to his team.
He's also a nice chap.
Ah, yes,
which,
super nice.
which certainly helps. Always happy to have a chat on the sidelines, and that's greatly appreciated by us here in the booth.
So apparent points, the first break of the game for Gentle as Yonkers goes around and sights Demarais. Muller. High release backhand. Ort finds his feet inside. Now Muller again. DeLuca with a dance in the backfield. Gets free and sends back to Muller. Benjamin Yonkers fakes the hammer. Gives the up line. Ort wanted to backhand through the defense and calls a foul.
Yeah, I think as this game ticks on, if it stays close, it wouldn't surprise me to see the physicality continue to ratchet up.
Ben Ort gives the backhand and gets Demarais. He gives a little float spike and smacks it down, and 9-8 up go Mooncatchers.
Lander de Crane on Dan Demarais is an interesting matchup for me, because obviously we know Landers, he's a big specimen, and if discs go up, and Dan Demarais has got incredible ups, that obviously de Crane might be the best player to challenge those, but I don't know if he's necessarily as light on his feet as Demarais is. But who else would you put on him? Generally you think you put your best defender on their best player, and well, who the best player is seems to fluctuate on a game-to-game basis. Certainly based on the past season, where Dan Demarais was the European Player of the Year. I think that's the matchup that Lander would want to take, but is it quite the correct matchup? There's the earlier disc. I think you can clearly see there that it was out the back. And Ort has that matchup between Demarais and de Crane isolated in the front of the end zone, and there's nothing de Crane can do. Overcommits, and then bang, Demarais gets in behind for the score.
.44 minutes and change expired. Plenty of time left in this game. At this rate, we should assume we'll get to 15, but we don't like to assume too much.
You know what they say about assumptions?
What do they say, Bench?
They make an ass out of you, and
Umptions?
yeah. A little bit more wind popping up. Hello. I mean, these two teams have supreme throwers, so I don't think they'll be phased by it, but just something else to add into the melting pot of this game.
Boumalal goes to Van de Vega. Krushak. He jacks one. He's got a Van de Vega, and Novak Alture confidently steps into that one and gives us a nice little dance to celebrate.
He's such a handful, is Arthur Van der Wegen. You cannot take your eyes off him for even a second, because when you do, That's when he gets you, Steph. That is 3 assists and 4 goals for Arthur van der Wege, who is having himself a game, and Krushak with the jack doesn't care about the wind. A couple of defenders close as the Moon receivers cross Moon gentle receivers even, cross over each other a little bit at the end, but nothing Ushinsky or Gaëtan van den Broek can really do. Arthur van der Wege is going off in this game.
Having an absolute day out there, leading the stat sheet. Speaking of stat sheet, that David Novak doing a job too with 2 blocks, an assist and 2 goals. Keeping Gentle very much in this game.
That's pretty handy, isn't it?
Lander, De Craan sends the pole. De Luca catches and gives to Yonkers. Bontemps. Wind up, sent. Desmarais got to play catch up, but he can. Yes, he can with some exceptional athleticism. He can. What a bid. Desmarais sends the body horizontal and makes a highlight out of that leading throw.
Did you ever have any doubt that Dan Desmarais wasn't going to get that?
Maybe for a millisecond, but as soon as I saw him in stride, I was like, yeah, he's going to get there.
Shame on you, because that's what Dan Desmarais does. That's why his game is so well-rounded, because there is nothing seemingly out of reach for Dan Desmarais. Slashing underneath, and there's a reason that they pull the trigger. Maybe too much edge on this, or the slightly wrong trajectory, but Dan Desmarais catches, and you can see the crowd there behind that end zone all go up as one. Bontemps gave Dan the chance to make a highlight reel play, and Dan Desmarais obliged, as he is very frequent at doing. What a nice lad. Yeah, and actually, watching it again, it's not just the kind of the explosion when he jumps, but it's the real swipe and snag. There's still like a controlled violence in the way he does things sometimes.
Yeah, wonderful displays.
What I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you know, the lower body launch, but still the emphatic grab out of the sky with a little bit of a upper body twist there to keep it insured, no doubt about it.
Yeah, there's a real intentionality about the way he does things.
Van der Wege and Boumalal, they bounce it to the far side and back to center.
Yeah, pull.
Van der Wege.
Yeah, safe.
Krushak. Nice pop over top. A little bit risky, but gets away with it. Boumalal. Throws to Van der Wege. Low throw collected. Krushak. Defense making a lot of noise. Expect to switch into straight match.
You called it.
De force.
Well, after they called it, but
I identified it. Van der Wege brothers return passes across the midline. Krushak has some streaking end zone cuts, decides to recycle. Outchill Van der Wege, the stat man of the day. Goes back to his brother Aaron. Leading throw, and the brothers hook up for another. Aaron to Arthur.
that's super sneaky, isn't it? And almost an act of espionage as he finds a way to just sneak and slip through the back door into the end zone for the score. The two brothers having themselves a very good day. And how do you stop Arthur van der Wege when he's in this sort of form? Because he's been involved in 8 of Gentle's 10 goals.
Yeah,
So just uses the offhand there. And there's not so much vertical separation, but there's that lateral separation there with Crisafulli. And it means that throw, it blades and arcs over his head. And by the time Crisafulli sees it again, it's too late. And Aaron van der Wege he's gonna find a way to make you pay. Cannot say enough good things about the play of the Van der Wege brothers in this game. Two of a Gentle roster that's played very well, but he has in particular been a big star for them.
You've got that perfectly assessed, Benji. The brothers doing a lot of the legwork to stabilize that offense, and today Arthur becoming a bit lethal, being able to find goals and materialize the hard work into goals. Yonkers now and the Mooncatchers with the O-line back in the field. De Luca gets kicked in the hand.
That Yonkers huck that Müller couldn't bring in at the back of the end zone, by the way, that's the only turnover since the start of the second half. So
Tidy.
you have to be precise and perfect. Nothing else will do.
Desmarais wound up and didn't throw to Cocklitz. Now Mueller.
I think because both sides have been so parsimonious in giving away the disc, you're making sure that every decision, every throw is 100%.
And
the
that-
90s, the 95s, they're not going.
Yeah, that's when the pressure ramps up, when you gotta overthink some of these decisions to maintain that 100% or as close to it as possible. Yonkers pops one over to DeLuca.
Lovely throw.
Back to Desmarais. Desmarais finds Blasman and quick to Ort. Changing the angles. Ort shows his signature big arm windmill fake now to Yonkers. Not in, charging throw up the line. Nothing to throw to in the end zone until now. Dan Desmarais sneaks out of the bushes and finds an opening. We've got a pick called. Doesn't count yet.
It felt like Paul Ofori was a marionette on that mark, and Ben Yonkers was just pulling the strings and teasing him whichever way he wanted.
DeLuca to Yonkers, and there Desmarais again. Johnny on the spot that time. Catches, and through the legs goes the spike.
It's an offensive clinic, this game. Like, this is such good teaching tape for how you play offense. Yes, they've taken some shots and that's helped to open up the field. It gives you more space to work with, but in the red zone, you really see how good these teams can be. It's quick movement, it's utilizing the laterals, you get the handler slashes through, you work together. It's not just one player doing something, it's okay, if this cut comes here and it gets it, where do I need to be to collect the next pass? How are we working in synergy with each other? So one clears through. If it doesn't get it, am I making that cut to get the reset? So we're keeping the stall count ticking over. We're constantly changing those angles of attack. And Mooncatchers do that so well. Sometimes going backwards is a good thing because it allows you to generate more forward momentum afterwards. You can sucker defenders into the backfield. Gentle didn't quite have the same success as Mooncatchers did at the 2022, I should say, World Ultimate Club Championships, where Mooncatchers came fourth. 18th for Gentle, which is still a very good finish for their first time at Worlds, and trust me, if they can keep this core together, they'll come higher than that in 2 years' time.
Deep shot goes, Novak's on the chase. Desmarais gets a hand and smacks it away. Cube becoming the hero both sides of the disc.
Novak has his hand up in apology because when this shot went up, I thought it was good, but Novak doesn't take a particularly good angle to it. Oh, it's just, doesn't take a particularly good angle to it in the end. He's too straight, too flat. He needs to angle that one a little bit central, so he's closing the path there for Dan Desmarais, and he's creating that box for him to go and attack it at the end, but he doesn't do that, and that means that Desmarais can come and get a palm in for the block, and Novak has his hand up because that's an opportunity at a block that Desmarais should never have had, and Desmarais burns everyone's fantasy ultimate points as he burns the timeouts as well.
Timeout taken, late game here. Mooncatchers stretching away. Are they on their way to that golden ticket? Find out after these messages. We'll be right back. back in Leuven. Mooncatchers stretching ahead. All the action here. This is the second final of the day. I'm Stefan Rapazzo here with Benji Reese. Benji, tell us what's happening.
Well, at the moment, Mooncatchers have finally made Gentle turn it over in this half. They'll have the disc to take a 12-11 lead. Elsewhere on the field, like we mentioned, the only game in the last round of open fixtures was the Wall City Lafota game that was 14 apiece. So Universe Point, and having been 14-11 down, 4 on the spin for Wall City to take a 15-14 win. And Phil Kay to third-year Rogers has sealed them 5th place at this Elite Invite.
Wow, what a big comeback. A tough weekend for Lafota after victory found them in Bruges. Come here with high expectations and have to settle for 6th place here at the Elite Invite. That is a great measure of the elite level that is here.
Yeah, it feels like there's more teams than ever that can take a game off you here or there and can, you know, get hot in the bracket and can knock you out. And 6th place is an aberration for a team like Lafota.
Abeltinch to De Ritter. Right back to Abeltinch. De Ritter. These two playing behind the disc. Abeltinch leads. Oczynski can't handle, and it will be Van de Vega.
This has been such an offensive game that the D-lines have barely had a chance to get their hands on the disc, and I think that's why you saw Oczynski with a really uncharacteristic drop from him, I think.
Indeed it
He's usually
was.
so sure-handed.
Krushak with a nice crafty throw earlier in the sequence. Now Van de Voude on the far sideline. Doesn't have a cut to look at, then gets the open dump as Abeltinch tries to cheat in. Van de Vega brothers throw together. Now De Force. Back to Aaron Van de Vega. Sidelines amping up in the low throw. The mistake from Van de Vega. Mooncatchers crediting the tight mark from Abeltinch.
It's the first time all game that a side has turned it over on multiple possessions.
Abeltinch winds up, sends to Desmarais over one head, and diving defensive effort to make sure the second effort would not have a chance.
And now both sides have turned it over twice, so there you go. Abeltinch understand calling Desmarais' number, coming over towards the D-line to try and get the break, but I think it's a good shot the block came throwing through on the backside, because Cedric Feller was just lurking there and he could have been the very grateful recipient were it not from the slap from Pierre-Jan de Force.
Yeah, big slap, making sure of things. And Arthur Van de Vega bringing it back to the line. Has a deep cut, and he's not going to be shy to pull the trigger. 3 trailing defenders, but they will get there. What a chase! Unbelievable scenes to make that hold. Oosterlink gets horizontal and gets himself a highlight in this grand final.
We are crying wolf here in the booth. That was unreal from Oosterlink. The throw went up and double, triple coverage there, and Oosterlink out sprints and outruns them all, and in the end he's got a little bit of gas as this throw goes coast to coast from Arthur Van der Wege. An absolute exocet of a throw, the backhand bombed deep, and then the clap catch layout shifts the grip into the one hand, turns the immaculate landing, and Oosterlink, who's still only 20 by the way, and been playing half his life, he shows why he is another one of this Belgian contingent that is going to be here for years and years to come. Great throw, even better catch.
Unbelievable. Gentle, tie things up, 11 apiece. Shift that pressure back onto the Mooncatchers O-line. Arthur Van de Vega, you just saw the score line there for him. 5 and 4 goals to assist. He's everywhere.
He is seemingly omnipresent, yes.
Yonkers goes to Karklint. The deep ball goes While the deep cut went, I thought the throw would follow, but the pop pass goes back to center. Blastman. Bontemps comes out with hands high,
Wow.
takes very high. Made to work for that one. Blastman now goes across to Benjamin Yonkers.
How often do you see a throw like that not have the resulting play that needed to be made to save it?
Muller, all too often. Muller goes to DeLuca. Now Blastman. He fakes the backhand and goes to DeLuca on the other side. DeLuca throws with an air bounce. Ort collects. Ort gives the backhand. Yonkers there. Ofori all over him. There's a foul called from the stack. Lander calls it on Carclins.
Ofori's an absolute nuisance, isn't he? He just buzzes around you constantly. He's in the grill and he's so springy that he bounces around because he's not a big man, but he really can get up and he makes himself big on the mark.
Yonkers again. Bontemps gives it under, fakes it, and looks away.
Look at the way that Ofori bounces on the balls of his feet.
There's that backhand, and this time, Bontemps is the Johnny on the spot, collects after the bobble. Ben Yonkers pulls out the same throw, the upside-down backhand, and it counts.
There's the Moon we know and love, isn't it? This was what they used to do in the past. It felt like they got a reputation on the scene for finding these ludicrous ways of getting themselves out of jams and, to be honest, sometimes getting themselves into jams. But that mark from Ofori, it really hassles and harries Yonkers and had to do something creative and flips the grip. Almost a cower knife in the end he throws this. I think it is actually. Upside down backhand. Carclinch can't get it under tight pressure from De Crane. And Bontemps says, merci beaucoup.
Ouais. I saw Ben Ort reacting to it, not entirely thrilled with the decision, which is fair to say. I mean, happy to get away with the result, a goal, but Yonkers putting up a bit of a hope and a prayer in that upside-down backhand, and this time the prayer was answered, but not one that you should be counting on as far as the percentages might dictate.
No. I don't think he wanted, well, I mean, obviously he wanted to throw it because he threw it, right? But I don't think that's certainly the first play in the book.
So, knotted up again, 11 apiece. Gentle, waiting patiently and desperately for a chance to break, but what they'll have to do first is hold, and they've been very good at that as well. Aaron van de Vega goes to Oosterlink. Last time we saw him, he was making highlights. Arthur van de Vega winds up again. He is perfect today. Finds Novak. Van de Vega, somebody get the fire extinguisher. That hand is on fire.
5 assists now and 5 goals for Arthur van de Vega. They've got to find a way of shutting this down because anytime he gets the disc, the deep strike, it's only half on, and the throw has come out absolute nails. It's brilliant to watch. He's just been almost surgical with the way he's hit those deep shots at times, the gentle number 90. And what do? Do you go a little bit flatter maybe? But then he's got the wide pivot, so he can really get the edge on it out the sidelines. They've started him in the hand. Look, all this time it's downfield, so he's getting in continuation a little bit. Ushinsky, I think maybe daring him, go on, throw the backhand down the line, get the right edge on it. You won't, but he will. And how do you stop him? Because generally it's been the backhand, but you know he's got a flick hook as well. So
he's done it on both sides. 5 and 5 assists and goals, responsible for 10 of the 12 Gentle scores. Arthur van de Vega is the reason Gentle is neck and neck with Moon right now.
With the wind picking up a little, there's certainly an argument, I think, that you could maybe play a bit more zone defense and have someone just hanging off the back there. Anything to dissuade those deep shots, of course. That'll leave space underneath, but sometimes you've got to take risks.
Muller gets the disc, leads to Desmarais. From the sideline, spots Carclins. Inside to Muller. Muller back to Blasman. Blasman throws center, Desmarais. Desmarais goes wide, DeLuca there to collect. Leading throw to Desmarais, and he takes it between defense. Lander coming to help out, but not quite quick enough when you're trying to settle down Mr. Desmarais.
You've got to get the angle right. You've got to nail the delivery because, as you mentioned, Lander de Kleiner was poaching from the backside, waiting to get in there and steal a march on his national teammate. But the throw and the aim was true, and Dan Desmarais, who's not having a bad game either, in all honesty. I think that's now 4 goals, four assists plus a block as well. He's on for a 3-by-4 almost, to be honest. And then slotted in there, as you see on the replay. The crowd is getting larger and larger as the other games around the complex wrap up. The mixed bronze medal match, by the way, has just started behind us. Nulact versus Deep Space on the Ulti TV single cam coverage. I think Lorca Murray's back for that one as well.
Indeed he is.
Keeping the man busy, but yeah, maybe have that on some second screen action because you cannot take your eyes off this one, Steph.
No.
13-12. This one is going to go all the way.
One break only, a small handful of turns only. There are 5 turns in the game in entirety, 4 of them on one single point.
Yeah, there's only been 4 points all game with turnovers. It's ludicrous. It's just ludicrous. This is ultimate of the highest quality that Europe is providing on an ever-increasing basis.
Boumalal and Gentle need to score to bring it back to level. Bakemans throws the body. Van de Vega with the disc, back to Boumalal. He doesn't test the space, and that's why he didn't. The next throw did, and Bakemans breaks up the play. A break opportunity for the Mooncatchers. Desmarais looks low. Now looking back into the dump space. Chisels forward. Nothing there. Vandenbroek then leads to the back corner. Oczynski is there. And a huge late break to stretch it to 14-12.
That is enormous because Gentle now need to find 2 breaks against this Mooncatchers O-line that's only surrendered the disc once all game. That's the task they are facing right now, and it came from Bakemans playing smart, realizing that, hey, we can just, we'll force you to take those resets, anything we can. How do we gun the big shots that Gentle have thrived upon? We'll sit those handler marks off a little bit. Say, just keep swinging it, that's fine, we don't care, as long as you don't get anything more aggressive downfield. And the result of that is Bakeman's dropping off a couple of steps, gets in the way, gets the block, and then cramming it in down that far sideline in for the score. Moon 1 away from a second consecutive Elite Invite title.
So we do have a timeout. We will take a very short break here and be back with the tail game action. Don't go anywhere.
Get there. Yes, he will. The lovely did.
It's all coming to head here. Moon have gone ahead and taken their 14th with only the second break of the game, giving themselves a few game points in a row should they need it. First, Gentle with a chance to hold, bring it back to within 1 on the scoreboard. But then, as Benji said, would need a pair of breaks to end the game if they're going to slow down Moon from getting their golden ticket.
And the 2 breaks Gentle need is 1 more than they've managed all game so far. So, yeah, I think you could say it's a tough ask. But Gentle, they're not here by accident. You know, they knocked off Lofoten and Clapham in the bracket. And it would not surprise me if they could pull the seemingly unthinkable here.
Let's see what they're capable of. Novak goes back to Van de Vega. He's still in space looking at a Moon zone here after it showed some success on the last point to produce the break. Boomalal winds up, then goes to Vareken.
Uh-oh.
The hot-handed Van de Vega. Begging to take it, then does give it his brother on the receiving end. Delas coming into the picture, and it is Aaron Van de Vega and goes to Oosterlink. They will extend the game at least 1 more. 13-14, and they'll put the Moon O-line back on the field.
We talked about how maybe you could adapt the force to stop Arthur Van der Wege hucking it. I don't think not putting a force on is the way forward. It seemed very strange, and because there's no one in his face creating that traffic, he can really whip the IO across his body, send it away, and then fading back down towards the far side, but it did invite traffic. Thankfully, Gentle were equal to the task. His brother Aaron ripping it away from a maelstrom of bodies. The massive humanity underneath did not matter. And then composure and calmness personified afterwards. Well, there's the hold Gentle needed. Now, can they find their back-to-back breaks? Or is it going to be Moon's day once more?
So, second game point right now. First game point with a guaranteed possession of the disc. Mooncatchers can take the championship here. Clear championship point available. And Gentle, their last gasp for heroics. DeLuca starts off the sequence to Yonkers. Now Desmarais. Desmarais leads to Ort. Some contact from Vareken. And Ort turns away as he calls the foul.
I think Vareken just lost his footing there.
Ort looks upfield. Zips to Bontemps. Desmarais comes under, but the throw doesn't go. Now Bontemps goes back. Nobody on Blastman.
There's a lot of phone cameras on the sidelines. Do they not realize we're filming this?
Up to DeLuca. Novak. To Yonkers. Yonkers wound up and then goes to Desmarais. Ort goes deep. No throw. Carcledge comes under. Carcledge fakes to Yonkers. Now Blastman gets the push pass into the grill. Blastman wants to go around. Desmarais comes to the open side. Moon keep chipping down the line. Desmarais leads. High grab. And the Mooncatchers have done it. Carcledge with the final score. Mooncatchers take the elite invite, the guaranteed ticket to EUCF. It's all said and done here in Leuven in the open division.
I think it's very telling that Gentle, we finally saw them cross some of those offensive styles over to that D line. We saw Novak out there, Arthur Van der Wege out there as well, but it was not enough. Moon were just too good on the day. If you're wondering the number of times their O-line turned it over this game, well, there was that one time in the first half, at the start of the second half. That was it. Yeah, they were supreme in this game, broken on just one of their 13 points. So when Gentle D-line got the disc, they did the job. They just only got it the once, unfortunately. That's the way it worked, and just able to generate more pressure on Gentle's O-line, and why they weren't as sharp with it after the turn, they managed to get just the one extra break that they needed. Well, they didn't even need an extra break, of course, because they started on offense, but in a game of such tight margins, Gentle, while they were brilliant this game and this weekend, Moon just too strong for them in the end, and they are the first team in the open division to seal their spot at EUCF in October.
Exciting stuff for Moon, their third final in a short season, beating La Fota on Universe Point at Spring Tour, losing to La Fota on Universe Point at Tom's Tourney. And this, if you can believe, the biggest margin of victory we've seen in these tournaments, a 2-point win. Moon take this one 15-13 in a game that Gentle truly did show up for.
Oh, 100%. They're a team, I think, that enjoys the spotlight, enjoys the big time as well. They should, because they're a great team with some phenomenal players, and they've shown that on their day they can hang with anyone, they can beat anyone. I believe in them, certainly I believe in them, and it would not surprise me if they are picking up at least a bronze medal at EUCF in October in the end, because they are that good. And they have that quality. It's been a brilliant weekend for them. Yes, silver's not the medal they wanted, but silver's still a very good performance when you consider 8 of Europe's very best here this long weekend. So every game is a grind, and Gentle didn't have the best pool stage 1 and 2 in the end, but got hot at the right time for the brackets, got a little bit of extra support coming back that was huge. And we see here the match stats for you. 2 breaks for Mooncatchers, just the 1 for Gentle.
What a tidy game that is. Look at the 13 clean holds, Benji. That is an impeccable looking match stat sheet that is as tidy as we've seen in a very long time. Thank you, Force, for bringing those match stats to us. 5 break chances for Moon.
That's the one thing I think Moon would want to improve. 5 break chances. A, they could say, could we created a couple of more of those? And B, 2 for 5 is solid. I think they'd want to be hitting on over 50% of them. Well, ideally you want to hit on 100% of them, right? But you appreciate that other teams have a right to play defense once they've surrendered the disc as well. Gentle, their D-line, when they got the disc, they punched it in, but they got it just the one time. And how do you play? How do you win games when offenses are that hot? It's a thankless task playing D-line, isn't it, Steph?
Indeed it is. The faceless warriors, or soldiers as they are. We're going to have a look at some of the highlights, the replays from the game, take you through a little montage, and we'll be back with a little bit more by the time the Golden Donut is ready for presentation. So enjoy a little look back at this game, and we'll be back live by the time the celebration is ready. And there it is, the presentation, Mooncatchers. Getting that golden donut there, that is their ticket to the EUCF. Benji, a fun finish, went to expectations. The favorites taking it home just next door to home.
Well, it's a good job they won because they hadn't actually got it engraved for last year yet, so they can get 2 and 1. Maybe they were hoping to say we'll retain it and we'll get the buy one get one free discount on the engraving. But Mooncatchers, as they were last season, they put on such a strong early season. They fell away eventually at the end, came short at the final hurdle at EUCF. But if they want to go one better this year, they could not have started in a hotter fashion, I think.
Congratulations to the Mooncatchers. Wonderful day at the office here. It's been a great day at the office for all of us at Alti TV, bringing you this action live. Crew, as always, doing a wonderful job, and the wonderful sounds of the man next to me, Benjamin Reese, keeping you well informed. A big thanks to him. I, of course, have been Stefan Rapazzo. It's been my pleasure to bring you this game. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will catch you next time.